This is the Bard, the new lead of sports entertainment, professional wrestling, whatever you want to call it. The Prince of Broadway and the leader of the production, Frankie Flynn. And you're listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and we also know it's all about you, but only if your name is either Emma or Tennille Dashwood. Nobody else. This is Wrestling Cheers, brought to you by the brand new TrendingTopicsNetwork.com and NEO Sports Insiders. Help us out. Rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean. WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. And also, if you want to get a hold of us, it's really easy. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we got a merchandise store, whatamaneuver.net. Head on over there, help support the show, buy yourself a t-shirt, buy yourself a hoodie, because, hey, the weather's getting better, and I think there might be tank tops on there. I got to double check, but I know, t-shirts look really cool. And this is Wrestling Cheers, where we preview shows, review shows, and sometimes we have interviews on the people in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. And I am your host. I am heavy set this week. Yeah, it's another AIW episode, and we have to talk about last Friday's show. We've got a dilemma. And no further ado, let's just get into this now. Okay, little programming note. I did mention last week that I was going to have 2 episodes in a row with debuts each. Last week we heard, Moy Boy Michael Moynihan, the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers. You heard him on the show, and there's supposed to be a debut this week, and that was supposed to be. There's not. I was going to bring in longtime AIW fan Ray Hyclack. Now, Ray, he's been a fan for a very long time. He doesn't come to every single show because maybe certain scheduling things and whatnot. And, I know he's great on a podcast because he was on Let the Hate Flow Through You a while back, and I've listened to the show, and I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to have Ray on. And we talked about this, I'm not kidding, back in December. I was like, what's the next show you're coming to? And he's like, probably going to be the Emma show. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll have you on to review it. Have a cool debut and have you come on the show. He texted me while we were in line to get into We've Got a Dilemma, telling me he wasn't feeling good and he was skipping out on the show. So, not actually going to the show means he couldn't be on this show to review it. So, I just went to the old playbook and I pulled out a well-known play, and that's none other than everybody's favorite, kind of. We have Kayden Ranky.
I'm back.
Other than the end of the year show that we did, the special one, when was the last one you were on?
The Hell on Earth one?
Was it?
I think.
I don't know, these shows are starting to put... we had Wet Bandits and Rulers of the World, yeah. And
it's
the Ray
been
Rowe
a
shows.
while.
Yeah. What I try to do on this show is I try to give a good, variety of co-hosts. Because, there might be people out there that get tired of hearing you. So, I throw in Peyton Vince. Maybe people don't like him. So I throw in, Dustin Alberti. But I feel like I give a good variety of people. It's a good mix. So it's like, okay, who's going to be on this week? If you get tired of me, I'm sorry. There's no one else recording the show but me. So you're stuck with me. And that's I think the worst thing is maybe I lose my voice, or just one day I want a day off and I'm like, you know what? 2 people run it. I'll just record it. I'll be here. I just don't want to talk, but that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, so that's what we have with that. Still got a few more people that still soon to make debuts on. Just we're keeping a good variety right now, and this is still second of 6 straight AIW episodes of 3 straight shows. So what a way to start off with. We've got a dilemma. We got to start off with the woman herself, Emma. And Kayden, did you get a picture with Emma?
I did. Picture, autograph on the poster, because I always get the posters printed up for anyone that doesn't know, and an 8x10. So $40 right there.
I'll say they didn't charge you for the double autograph?
No, they did. The combo was 30.
I thought that's what you said, 30.
Combo was 30. It was $10 extra for an autograph again.
Oh, I thought they said 20 extra, but okay. I mean, I did the picture and I did an autograph. She tried to sell me a shirt, but I've kind of in the past little over a year, I've realized that 3X is a much better size for me. I can fit in some 2Xs, like I'm wearing a 2X right now and it feels great, but they vary. So sometimes it'd be safe, I buy a 3X. Well, she didn't have 3X. And luckily someone had mentioned that ahead of me in line. So she tried to, hey, you want to buy a shirt? And I kind of did want to buy a shirt. But I'm like, I heard you only have, up to 2X. Well, are you sure? You could probably still fit in a 2X. And I'm like, no, I'm just being safe because I'm good. And she's like, okay. And then I got my picture. And then
Get 3Xs.
And then right before I walked away, he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, if you see my closet, you'd be like, well, you definitely like wrestling shirts. That's not an issue. But I'm like, do you want one? I'm like, yeah. I kind of want to buy one to be a troll, but to someone else out there in the wrestling world. But other than that, I'm like, if you don't have 3X, and 3X isn't a common size for wrestlers to have. If they have it, it's like, oh my God, that's awesome. I think that's recently too with a shirt that actually it's to my right, the KFC Ric Flair shirt, which I think is going to become my favorite shirt because I think they just did one run, and once they sell out of the WWE shop, they're done.
They're gone. Because
I noticed when I bought mine, they had small through large. They didn't have extra large or 2X, and then they had 3X was the highest. So I quickly jumped on it during a sale, and then after that sale, it was just small through large, and then after that, now I should say as of this recording, it's just small.
Well, let me get this before they're gone.
Yeah, so that's going to become definitely my top 5 wrestling shirts right now. Fucking love it. It looks so awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that she had a really good turnout too. I think people need to know for who weren't at the venue for this. This was a really good turnout. I don't know if AIW has had a turnout like this for a show where a wrestler wasn't leaving to go to WWE, or there wasn't a Hall of Fame wrestler for the meet and greet. At least that's what it seemed like. And
most meet and greets AIW does, there's always a good crowd for it.
And also props to AIW. I want to say they opened the doors roughly on time because they advertised 6 o'clock. Was it 6? Because I know you were right there by the door. I think it was. If it was, it was.
It was close. It was real close.
I think it might have been within 5 minutes, and even is really good. And the thing that I like too,
if you come to AIW shows,
if they can continue this, which it seems like they might be, because they're going to do it with Enter the Dragon with Steamboat, is they're going to do the hour-and-a-half meet and greet. Because actually, I showed up a half hour after we were supposed to be there. Or we could, the earliest we can get there now, which is 5:30. Well, 5 o'clock's the time we can get there, 5:30's the time I got there. Already the stairwell's full. And I think not that long after I got there, the line was forming out the door. And I forgot to go to an ATM. So I was like, well, I'm not losing my spot in the line. I'll just wait. And then a friend of ours, AIW fan Russell, I think at one point we were both outside because of the fact that it was an hour-and-a-half meet and greet. That's plenty of time. And I was like, hey, walk with me to the bank because I don't trust people in this area right now. So me and him
could have been by Turner's.
Oh, that's one thing we talked about. How I trust this area more than Turner's, but I don't know.
Turner's was bad.
But I don't know the area, so I'm just like, come with me. My phone says there's 2 banks right up the road, and both.
Come with me as a sacrifice, just in case.
Yeah, so we did that, but it was because of the hour and a half. Normally when we have an hour, I feel like I'm not saying not enough, but if you have it to where, okay, we have an hour before bell time and we open the doors 15 minutes late to a half hour late, well, they don't always push the bell time back the same amount. So it's like you're sacrificing where, man, I don't get enough time to do everything I want to do. But this is an hour and a half.
Scott Hall meet and greet too.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was so nice having all that extra time, honestly.
So luckily with that, I was, like I said, able to go get my money and able to spend some money there at the show, which I think I only bought that, and I bought for AIW fan Andrew, who couldn't make it because he recently moved to Dallas for a job. So he's like, hey, can you pick me up a AIW hat? Which I know you
Which I'm wearing right now.
Mine, his, because it's not really mine, is right beside me too. But that was the only thing that I bought that night. And the only reason why I didn't buy a
very
hat,
nice hat.
My big thing is I don't like fitted hats. I don't know if I've had this conversation on here, but I know I've talked about it on Twitter, is I like fitted hats. Every hat I wear, if you see me wearing a hat, since we've known each other, it's going to be a fitted hat, whether it be like a New Era hat, and those are like specially number sizes, or like my Bullet Club hat, or I got a Cavs hat for work. It's more of it's a large, extra large quote size. I think since I've known you, but I haven't worn it around you, the only adjustable hat I've worn is the Cavs championship hat.
I don't even remember that one.
The Cavs. Well, could you?
I don't remember you wearing that. That's what I should say.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think I wore it already. I think I wore it like a handful of times, and that was it. Because I don't. My head is really big. I fit either a 7 3/4 or a 7 7/8 New Era cap size, and I think. One AIW fan, Stacy, he told me like, oh, a lot of these fitted hats these snapback hats are getting bigger so they can fit bigger heads. Cause I think he's like, I'm an 8. And my other issue with this is like right now my hair's a little bit longer. I don't like my hair coming out that little opening in the back. It's something that I've always been annoyed with since
it just gets annoying.
Yeah. Like I think I don't know if it's actually called this, but like I always called it the ducktail. I hate that. I hate that. So in between those two things, I don't wear snapbacks. So with AIW coming out with a snapback, and I even asked Thorne, it's like, hey, like, you guys can do fit hats? Like, no, but we got this trucker hat because you're a trucker. And I'm like, and I hate those even worse. I do. I even had a fitted trucker hat. I think I bought that years ago. It's a Chicago Bears one. Like I wore it for so long, and then I just bought a regular fitted. But that's my little thing of fitted hats. But anyway, like that's the only money I even spent at the show. So I think, was there money I wanted to spend? There's always shirts that I want to buy. I want to buy the production cut shirt, but I think I'm gonna have to go to Pro Wrestling Tees for that. And I hate buying from Pro Wrestling Tees anymore.
I have not bought from Pro Wrestling Tees in a long time.
Their deal with Hot Topic has really slowed down my orders from Pro Wrestling Tees. Because I'd be like, oh, I gotta buy all this Bullet Club stuff. And now I turn around, it's like, oh, you mean it's right down the road?
Oh, all right.
It's right down the road, and I can go pick it up, or I can order from Hot Topic's website, and it still get here quicker. Okay, I'll do that.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, because I actually just did that with a Bullet Club order a couple of weeks ago. It was one of those really good sales. I think it was like buy one. I didn't buy one get one free or something online, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy all these shirts now. Like I bought, I think 6 shirts, and I think actually 5 of them were mine. The 6th one was one for my girlfriend. But I almost bought a 6th one. It was going to be a Hangman Page shirt, but it was going to be a 4X because for some reason it went from small, medium, large to 4X, and I'm like, well,
that's a big size difference there.
So I was like, I'll get 4X. And she's like, well, I really want this shirt. I'm like, okay, I'll get that shirt. I'll get that shirt for you because I don't need to have a 4X shirt hanging around. So, so I got to buy that. I want to buy the production shirt off of, them if Derek or Frankie don't get any more orders soon. But all right, let's get into this card because, it was a long night of professional wrestling with many unannounced matches, and even one that was a not fully announced match still had some little bit of surprise to it. So we start off the night with Mance Warner coming out with the Duke, and this was not a tag team match like we thought could possibly been the 4-way tag match that was announced only on AIW's Instagram stories. But instead, we get a one-on-one match, a dream one-on-one match. Mance Warner versus Jock Sampson. This was so awesome.
What a way to start tonight. Perfect.
Definitely hoping we see more of Jock in the future. And if we're going to do something with the tag team that was Mance Warner and Sean Schultz, with Schultz, retiring now, I thought Jock was one of the best options, which it wasn't talked about on last week's episode. I didn't think about it until literally like a day or so after. And it just hit me like, oh my God, Jock is oh my God, Jock is like the best option. Screw all these other options we were thinking about. Like Jock fits into that, but sadly, we get a one-on-one match for now. Maybe they team down the road. I don't know, because I thought we could have imagine this. Imagine a promo with Jock, Mance, and Duke all talking about, like, all on a team. Like, that would just be so good.
Money.
Duke money.
Hey, that Duke money got Mance Warner on all the regular AIW shows.
Dramatic pause.
It's the best. Anyone that follows me on Twitter or knows me in general knows I love Mance Warner. It's the best.
Do you love Mance Warner as much as I do Jackson? Oh, nope. Everybody says that now. No, do you love Mance Warner as much as I do Marion Fontaine?
That's a tough one. I'm not sure if it's that much, but it's close.
Okay, how about this for you? Mance Warner or Facade?
Different time now. I still like Facade a whole bunch, and he will probably be back in AIW soon because he's finally back from India. I'm going to get corrected there.
Yeah, that's what I thought, India. I hope, this is what I think, but I hope he gets booked for the return at Gauntlet. That's just the perfect time. I think Gauntlet's going to have its fair share of surprises. It always does. And that would be the second comeback surprise from
Third.
Third?
15, 16, and this will be his official, or is it? Hold on a minute. I swear, he's returned in Gauntlet a couple times.
I think the biggest one was 16. Because
I was about to say, it was Keep the Change. He kind of came back, then disappeared again. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe. Because what was the one that you didn't know about and like you flipped? No pun intended.
All of them.
One of them.
I think it was Keep the Change that time he returned, because it was supposed to be flipping Eric Ryan. Eric Ryan got hurt because he's Eric Ryan.
Eric Ryan got hurt because he's Eric Ryan. That needs to be a t-shirt.
I still got a problem here. This man yells at me for bringing a skewer board to a show, but a couple months later gets German suplexed head first on one. Listen here, Eric. It's not how this works. You can't yell at me for bringing one, then get thrown on your head on one. No, it's not how this works. I'm bringing a skewer board to the April show. I'm expecting you to use it now, Eric.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a freaking no rules.
I got things planned. Just wait. Already doing my weapons shopping.
We don't even know any matches yet.
So, it's not going to stop me from building things a month and a half early.
But we can expect Nick Gage to be champion.
We're going to get violence.
Nick Gage, Eric Ryan, that show?
Please. It's the perfect show for it.
This is me dream booking. Hardcore fantasy booking, let's put it that way. We always get surprises at Gauntlet. So, let's get the surprise return that nobody's seen coming. Ricky Shane Page. Doesn't win, which is fine. Just more like, hey, Ricky got booked.
Hey, he's allowed back.
So, at the 420 show, the rap show.
The show's on 420. Let's make all the jokes.
I made the jokes like last year. Because I didn't realize, because I think, it just lined up to, it was going to be right around the same time. Like, they have to do it on 420 this year.
I think we've been expecting this for how many years now?
Yeah, and then have at that show, Ricky Shane Page versus Nick Gage.
Continue their little mini feud they've been having.
It'd be interesting.
Because they have been having a little series of death matches recently at IWA and Beyond Wrestling, and they're probably having another one somewhere.
That would be interesting to have that at the rep show. Like, if not Eric Ryan, Ricky Shane Page.
It's gotta be Gage versus someone else that'll use weapons because, yay, violence!
Can we get Ricky Shane Page, Eric Ryan, and Nick Gage in one match?
Oh, God.
If AIW likes to do which they do, like you pop culture references, show references, movie references for show titles. As long as we have Nick Gage champion, the next show that we have like this needs to be called There Will Be Blood. I think that'd be great. I'm probably missing out on this reference, and it's feel stupid. It's not a movie I've seen, but there is a movie called There Will Be Blood. I see. I'm trying to remember how long ago it came out. I want to say, I mean, you were young, so you definitely wouldn't remember. I was young. What are you saying? I'm old now? Jeez. Well, I'm saying the show came out in 2007. Not the show, but the movie came out in 2007. So I doubt you remember a movie when you were 7 called There Will Be Blood. I remember watching WrestleMania 24 when I was 8. Yeah, but not There Will Be Blood. Starring. I can remember wrestling. I don't remember anything else. Yeah. I think that would be a good reference for him. I don't know if everybody would get it, but I mean, come on. Just have a deathmatch show called There Will Be Blood. Or better yet, have a show called Bloodsport.
Wait a minute.
This actually has two different ways I can go with it. There's the fact that Bloodsport happened, Kayden.
No, it didn't. We don't talk about that. Never happened.
And there's also the fact that there's going to be a Bloodsport show WrestleMania weekend. I believe it's WrestleMania weekend.
I can't bury that show. I'm sorry. That one WrestleMania weekend looks very, very good. As much as I'm trying to hate it, I can't.
No, I just don't like him.
That's fair.
I booed him last year at WrestleMania weekend.
So did every AIW fan that was down there.
Yeah, and like we were all in the same section. And everybody just looked at us like, why are you booing him? Fuck him, that's why. Anyway, Jock won via elbow drop.
Not the dab one that he does.
No.
Just a good old elbow drop.
Next up, we had another unannounced match. Actually, to a point of, I thought this was going to be a one-on-one match. I tweeted out the match, and then the third participant comes out, and I go, oh shit. And I quickly turned my phone into airplane mode to prevent the tweet from going out, so it didn't fully go out. But we had Matthew Justice versus Lewis Linden versus the return of Calvin Tankman and versus Tim Donst.
What a match.
The Tim Donst hate still lives. And also, this was a question that I asked when it happened. When's the last time we seen Donst this early in the show?
Bloodsport. I legitimately think it's Bloodsport.
Oh, so Bloodsport happened.
Yes, it did. just it ended with the world title match. Somehow the belt changed hands in between that and Hell on Earth.
I forget what match was he that early on at that show?
He literally opened the show. It was him, Eric Ryan, Facade, and Shawn Schultz, I believe.
That's a long time since Don's been this early. Maybe even the first half of the show, because obviously he's been in the main event picture one way or another since then.
Literally since that show, he's been absolute title picture, or absolute champ in this case.
I forgot that I do keep, now for these shows, I try to have cagematch.net AIW result page up. Yeah, Bloodsport, it did, yep, you were right, he started the show. I have to sit here, I'd have to go through the rest, but yeah, he hasn't.
I feel like that was the last time.
Yeah, because pretty much right after that, he was always in some sort of title match or something. Yeah. The next show after that was Josh Prohibition versus Tim Donst for the AIW Absolute title at Hell on Earth 12. Because
the Fans Bring the Weapons match got announced 2 days before the show.
Because after Bloodsport, it was the whole shebang, which I don't think Donst was on. As I'm scanning, I don't know. Donst was not on. Then it was Season of the Witch. Donst has not done a student show, not counting. Well, I should say he has done a Tequila Jack show. Yes. Technically, a student show was Wrestle Rager 2, but yeah, he hasn't done Tequila Jacks, or Music Links. After that was the Double Dare tournament. He obviously wasn't in that. And Hell on Earth was right after that. And then he main evented Jelly of the Month Club. Then I think that's when he started getting into the title picture. Because he was not booked for Walk the Plank, but he interfered in the main event. So pretty much all of 2017, Tim Donst was in the main event, or close to.
Yeah, pretty much every show.
So yeah. So that's why it was such a surprise. And Donst in an unannounced match. Well, I understand it too, because like we said, Donst was in the main event title picture for a while, and there are fans who, are tired of seeing Donst. So you put him in an unannounced match, they don't think they're going to see them. So when he shows up, hey, can't be too pissed.
He's not main event, but he's still on the show.
Yeah.
So the fans, the people that like him, still get to see him. People that don't like him,
but he's still
get to boo him.
He's so divided.
It's the most split 50-50 ever.
I often made the reference, and you might remember this, that Tim Donst was the John Cena of AIW.
Big match Donst.
I think when it came to hardcore popularity and everything, that may be more of a Gargano thing, but it was more of a big match Donst. He, Chris Hero's coming in for the next show. He's going up against Tim Donst. Oh, I forget. That was every time we turned around.
Danny Havoc was next.
Yeah, Danny Havoc. Okay. Oh, that's who he's going to go up against. No, I was going to say Tremont, but Tremont was Dickinson. But there were still other matches that would be, of course, that's who Donst is going up against.
Hardcore Holly.
Hardcore.
And
Well,
Donst wasn't even announced that he still wrestled Holly on that show.
that was more of a technicality of Nick Gage.
Coward.
But anyway, there
The point thing is that could play into the Gage Donst feud if they continue that.
Yeah. So there's that aspect of, Donst and John Cena. But there's also now, well, even before, but there's the split. And you would have thought, like, oh, when he actually became more of a heel, he would get booed more. Which, maybe he did, but it's, like, still even. There's
You still have his supporters.
Yeah, there's the loyal Tim Donst supporters out there. And then there's the loyal, I'm going to boo Tim Donst fans.
You're not one of them anymore.
No, I boo him.
Not as bad.
No, I don't heckle. I'm not trying to just degrade him. Like, I was being an asshole back then. Now it's more or less, boo, you suck.
Boo. I don't like you. Boo.
Yeah, it's more of the basic side. I try to be nice. So.
It's not the point where he'd throw your hat across the building.
He did do that.
He did once. I forget what show that was, but that happened.
Magnum CK's done that to you too? Well, not through it, but...
He always grabs my hat. He's mean to me.
But yeah, like I said, I try to be nicer to him. So, but yeah, the crowd still split. And my kind of question now is, with that crowd being roughly the same, his supporters still being there, his naysayers still being there, and he just lost the title in a great feud. What's next? So I kind of understand that's why we have Tim Donst in an unannounced match.
Start him kind of at the bottom of the ladder and get back up to the top in a way.
Kind of, but like at the same time, like I don't know, do we need to see Donst in the title match?
He's won it, 3 times?
What if Donst does go for the title, the Intense title?
I'm okay with this.
I think that would be interesting, and I'd like to see a really good feud with Joey Janela and Donst.
The mat wrestling machine versus Death.
Oh, and it's not like Donst won't.
Oh no, Donst is
won't
pretty
go
when he needs
deaf.
to be.
Like, remember when
he did that White Tube death match and got a chunk taken out of your arm? I remember.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. Remember if he would have lost the title in that death match, that there's going to be a death match tournament?
We don't talk about that. I'm still mad. Don't you tease a death match tournament. Get out of here.
Hashtag Donst wins, LOL.
Get that trending.
So, yeah, we had this unannounced match. Very fun. Also, you know more about him, and that's Calvin Tankman, because he was at another AIW show, one of the Music Links Tequila Jack shows. Was that Wet Bandits?
It was Wet Bandits.
Yeah, because he was, who did he replace? He replaced Jock.
He replaced Jock, because Jock replaced Tracy Smothers.
Yeah. Which, it needs to be stated, the Duke is still the holder of the Haas title.
Not for long. Tankman's going to take it off of him.
Oh, imagine, does it have to be Tankman? We still got Big Mo.
Yeah, so then we can get Tankman versus Big Mo in the Haas match of the century.
We got Big Twan Tucker.
We got Kurt Hurts. Hey, Kurt Hurts is a part of the Haas division.
We have... Would we consider... would Derek be Haas? Or he's Burley?
There's a difference.
Okay. Oh my god.
The Haas division's a weird place.
We can... I'm going to tweet it out here in a second, but it's something we've talked about a little bit, because like I said, I use cagematch.net, and I don't know, maybe because it's been mentioned. Not saying it's like it's because of us. I'm more or less, it's because it's been put out in the universe. Dominic Greeny now has a hyperlink on cagematch.net.
He's made it.
Finally. Because Ed went kind of bitching, because there's a lot of people that have hyperlinks on here, people that you wouldn't think of. Now, I guess next person we have to try to get one is...
Kurt Hurts.
I was going to say, Dr. Dan doesn't have one.
We got to find out how many of the trainees have one.
Brian Carson has one, and Excellence Personified has one, but not Dr. Dan. Anyway, so that match ended with Matt Justice and the diving knee strike.
He's got to have a name for that. Just at me or something. I gotta mark down all these names. Thank you, Frankie Flynn, for actually doing this and telling me all of your finisher names.
Yeah, I like it when...
One person that's done that.
I like it when wrestlers do that.
I'm going to have a note of all of his finisher names in my phone.
My biggest thing is trying to remember Twitter handles.
I'm pretty good about that, but there is some like,
well,
who's this guy?
You have people who change their Twitter handle. Like, I know PB Smooth did it, and I was like, what is it now? You also have people who their Twitter handle and their name that they have displayed might not necessarily be their gimmick name. Like for example, PB Smooth, I forget what he had as his name for a while, but it's at Mr. Fresh to Death. I type in PB Smooth, like he wasn't coming up as quick. There's some other wrestlers that I know are like that, where I have to think what their freaking handle is. Matthew just
instead just going and it comes up. It's like,
what's the weird thing you have with it? Do you have the at the end? Do you have a underscore? Like, what do you have in your name that I'm not thinking of? I have a problem with Dr. Dan sometime because I'll type in Dr. Daniel or something, and he has it as Dr. Dan, and the Twitter handle itself, I'd have to scroll back up with him. It's Dan C. Rockingham, which you probably can't put Daniel C. because too many characters with Rockingham. So for a while, I was having trouble finding him. Like, I actually tagged one of his other accounts at one point, and I was like, don't do that one. I'm like, oh, my bad, because I always have trouble finding your other one, your main one.
See, that's the thing. He has his personal account and his wrestling account, which I don't even remember what his personal account is. I just know he has two different accounts.
So that's one that I know, like I was saying, that's one of the things that I have where I have to just think of who you are. And also, as long as I've been doing this, or just even just being a fan, like, you're always adding wrestlers in your head, and you have to learn their Twitter handles. Sometimes, hey, those people go away. Sometimes they don't. So you're adding a lot to who you're tagging.
Or there's sometimes you get, after like how long you're doing these results for, 6, 7 years, you just have some guys memorized.
I always said the best ones are the ones that you just type in their name and it pops up.
Yep.
Like,
first person that comes to mind is Doss. His Twitter handle's super easy to remember in the first place, but it's just like, boop, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it's also good, like, I think this is what people should strive for when it comes to their social media, is try to get one that's like their name, which I know isn't the easiest. Like, Magnum CK doesn't have at Magnum CK because someone else does. But it's kind of cool, like a guy like, Johnny Gargano, he's a real easy one to remember. At Colt Cabana, but I know he had, to fight for his. Filthy Tom Lawler, that's boom. Like, ones that are just so simple. But also, too, which I don't know if we've mentioned, that some people have different Twitter handles than they do Instagram handles. Like, I know Marino Tenaglia. His are different. Twitter is the Mind of Marino, and I forget what his Instagram is off the top of my head.
You figured you'd try to keep your social media the same.
I mean, that's what I did with this show. When I was coming up with a title to rebrand, I was like, I want a good Twitter handle, because sometimes that's what people will remember you as. And I thought the Ohio Report was fine. I think maybe Ohio Indie Report was too long, so that's why I didn't do it. So every time I would come up...
Wrestling Cheers.
Yeah, well, every time I would come up with a name, I'd immediately go to Twitter. And I'd be like, oh, that's too long, or, oh, that's been taken. And actually, when I found out Wrestling Cheers wasn't taken, I was like, what? Why isn't Wrestling Cheers taken? Fine, I'll take it.
It's mine now.
Yeah. Which, on a side note, it has been a year since Wrestling Cheers debuted. Like, official, as Wrestling Cheers, since we made the name change. And I know I put a post out there on the Facebook page, and it's just kind of like listing everything that has happened over the past year. Really, when it's all put in front of you, it's like, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of things that have happened in the past year. We've released 40 episodes. That includes the pilot episode that I released roughly after the name change, just to say, hey, it's no longer the Ohio Indie Report, it's Wrestling Cheers, and this is why. And that's the episode 0, so it doesn't mess with a lot of those numbers. But anyway, 40 episodes. We have doubled the amount of regular co-host. And there's still, like I've said before earlier in this episode, there's still more to debut. We started becoming a weekly podcast in August, conducted 14 interviews, reestablished our Apple podcast feed while becoming available on Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify, and open up a What a Maneuver store. That's a pretty good year one under this umbrella.
And you added me.
I doubled the host.
I know. I'm important. Put me over.
You were the first to be added. If I want to get technical, and I've mentioned this before, you were supposed to be on the Ohio Indie Report.
Yes, I just didn't have the technology to do so at the time. Unless you wanted me to record on my iPhone and it sounded like garbage.
I don't know, there's a lot of podcasts that do that. They do that now.
I'm not that kind of person.
Blog Talk Radio, too. And I used to be on Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio is garbage.
Hey, don't shoot on them. There's another pod what's their things there.
I forget, but they don't host it. Do they host it live on podcast on Blog Talk Radio, or they upload to?
Upload.
That's the difference. When you upload to Blog Talk Radio, it's not as bad. When you host the show live, the quality is horrible.
It's just terrible.
And I've been there. I've done it. It's understandable. So after that, we went into a really fun match MJF versus Colt Cabana.
Oh my goodness, this match is wonderful. Not just because I stole MJF's scarf.
And
He got it back. Don't yell at me. He got it back. Because Steve Guy is mean and took it from me.
I tried to have notice of me rubbing my belly with it, just see what he'd do.
He wasn't looking. He wasn't having it.
No, it started off with just a back and forth between Colt and MJF of Colt being MJF's dad, and they did a really fun opening of the match of just doing the same moves. I think we started a Freaky Friday chant. And I can't think of any other highlights of the match up until the end. I mean, granted, it was still fun, but we have Steve Guy come out with... okay, this is where my kind of nitpick is. Someone explain this to me that knows better. If this is feasible, am I bitching because I make a point, or am I bitching because I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about? Is Steve Guy comes out with supposed to be like this paternity test, and he has some pee samples.
Quote
Pee samples. Well, he doesn't say pee, but it's yellow. It's in a small cup. Pee. So comes out saying, "Oh, we got the results, and Colt Cabana, you are the father." So and we started a Mazel Tov chant. That was fun. But MJF ends up... Well, they act like they're going to embrace, but MJF throws one of the pee cups onto Colt and rolls him up. And I remember when that happened, I just look at you, because for those who don't know, I tweet out, at AIW shows, I tweet out before match stuff. Kayden does after match stuff, because I'm horrible with move names.
I'm not much better. I just get really, really technical.
You're better than me because I just say pinfall. I say submission. That's what
This guy wins the match via super powerbomb onto a chair.
Yeah. So
I get really, really technical.
So Kayden says, MJF throws, quote, pee, unquote, in Cabana's face and rolls him up. But anyway, like right after like that happened, I was just like, good luck.
That's probably the first and last time I'm ever tweeting that for a result.
God, it was
God bless pro wrestling.
It was so fun.
The best. Whenever the show's out on MP4 or DVD or video on demand, whatever you use, watch that match. You will enjoy it very much.
Like I've said before, I'm a fan of MJF, and I want to see him more in AIW. And this might have been one of his best matches in AIW, which I think was like third.
Yeah, he has not had many. He really hasn't a chance to really show off, per se, yet.
Yeah.
Because he's fantastic.
And next up, we had Filthy Tom Lawler versus Dominic Garrini, a third in the series. One of the more technical matches I think AIW has had, and even upping it way more than their previous matches.
Wait, is this a third?
Or it's fourth. Where am I at on this one? Fourth. Cold as Ice, Abso, this.
No.
Not Abso?
It was Lawler and Kingston.
That's right. Oh, no, JLIT. JLIT instead of Abso.
Yeah, technically JLIT. They were in the four-way, but yeah.
But, yeah, freaking Filthy Tom Lawler that's the biggest loss we've had from Dom, in the past, year. That's who he loses. He'll beat everybody but Lawler.
He has had some big wins in the last year. That's the one he cannot get, though.
Mm-mm.
We're going to talk about the fact that Lawler killed his own arm in this match on a clothesline.
Oh, yeah. Well, this night was a night of injuries, and this was the first of it, and broke his own arm in the match. What was it?
The clothesline to the back
That's
of the
what I
head.
thought, yeah. Clothesline Dom so hard he broke his own arm. Or is Dom's head just so thick that he broke Filthy Tom Lawler's arm?
Match was not stopped.
Yeah.
Lawler finished the match with a broken arm because Tom Lawler is the man.
Won via arm capture Filthy Clash.
I'm dubbing the Styles Clash thing. He does the Filthy Clash. End of story.
I like that. I think he needs to roll with it.
I'm taking credit for it if he starts calling it that.
So-
It's not that creative, but
Yeah, still good. But yeah, like I said, it's so technical. There was even at one point where they were trading kicks where one would get on the ground and kick the other one in the back.
it was literally worth you to take. I'm going to sit down, you kick me. All right, you sit down, I'm going to kick you.
Yeah.
This went on for a couple minutes, but it's like each kick got harder. It was good.
And they took off
This
shoes and kick pads. Or no.
There's like a segmented match almost.
There was a point where Dom had to put on kick pads, I think, right?
Yeah, because this match, it was like jiu-jitsu at first, then it went to like kickboxing, then it just went to straight pro wrestling.
They started off in gis and belts. It definitely told its own story.
It was good. In-ring wise and story-wise, it was good.
And I think that the questions that we have coming out of this is, what's next for Filthy Tom, as in title? When are we getting to that point where he gets a title shot? And at the same time, what's next for Dom? That's the only person he can't beat is Filthy. So, I've said it before too that I feel like Dom's like big match Dom, not necessarily the same sense of,
not
of Dom's,
as much.
but he's gotten a lot of the better names to come into AIW lately. Or not even lately, you just go back to freaking Zack Sabre Jr. That's the one that always sticks out. Like, that was the moment that it went, okay, Dom's just not a student. Dom's going to be a lot bigger.
That was 7 months into his career.
Yeah.
And they already given him that kind of shot.
And, well, freaking Zack put him over after the match, too. He's like,
It was amazing.
He was like, you only been wrestling for 7 months? Jeez. Like, he was impressed. Like, this is what you have at 7 months? Oh, God. In a good way. Next up, we had the Fatal 4-Way match that was, semi-announced, but we did obviously take out Mance Warner and Sean Schultz and replace them with the Young Studs.
I'll take. Never going to complain about them being on an AIW show.
Nope. So it was PME versus Young Studs versus Jollyville Fuckets versus To Infinity and Beyond, and frickin' PME won via the Flapjack Flatliner.
Again, there's probably a name for that, but I'll just get real technical with what it is.
But it's awesome to see PME get a Mount Carmel win, and also the losing streak that is To Infinity and Beyond.
What do you mean? We like them.
You love
If you could see the extremely serious face I was making when I said that, it would have made it a lot better.
Well, the thing that we're going to do next time is, for those who were around when To Infinity and Beyond were tag team champions, which was forever, is, Cheech would come out, he'd carry his title over his shoulder, but not with the main part of the belt facing forward. It would be, over his back facing the other way. And he'd just walk by people, turn his head, and point at the title. Well, I have a fanny pack that looks like the WWE Championship from WWE Loot Crate, or Slam Crate, whatever you want to call it. And I keep that in my bag. So next time they come out, I'm just going to, when they walk by, I'm going to point over my shoulder.
I have a belt I can bring too.
I thought about that. It'd be funny if you brought your belt on Friday. For those who don't know, that Friday will be WWE NXT.
I'm debating. We shall see. Better than any of the $500 replica belts that people bring.
I want to buy
Marks.
So you bring in an independent wrestling one. You could go on the internet and buy one of the generic independent wrestling belts and just say you got the Prime Championship with you.
Or every other independent company's title.
I wouldn't say every. There's ones that don't do that, but
well, the indies do that.
Yeah. Funny thing
it's basically the starter indie belt.
Yeah, because it just says like champion on it almost. I mean, there's more words than just champion, but yeah. But I think you should buy one of those and be like, you're the Grand Cleveland champion. You have both.
I'm the CWA champion.
You have the AIW and PWO Prime title.
Perfect.
And we have video of you winning the title.
This is true. I pinned former NXT superstar Johnny Gargano once.
God, I watched that recently. God, you're so young.
I'm old now. Old and bitter.
Oh my God, it just from, I don't say a simpler time, but
back before I brought weapons all the time.
Oh God. And I think Johnny said that he's like, oh, one day me and you're going to be in the ring together. Now he's finally like, nope.
No, we're not doing that.
You can keep that deathmatch stuff away from me.
You can keep all the fluorescent light tubes over there.
But yeah, back to the match. It was awesome seeing PME win the title. Oh, not the title, but win the match. Not the title, definitely not the title.
Hey, spoiler alert.
But I'm wondering, are they going to get a title shot? No, I mean, they're not obviously not getting it the next show, but could they get a title shot in, April?
That'd be interesting.
Or will this feed into momentum for the tag tournament, Chandler Biggins Memorial Tag Tournament, which I'm looking forward to what that's going to be about. 2
tournaments, 1 weekend.
Yeah. 2 memorial tournaments, 1 weekend.
Let's not look at it that way. That just makes me sad.
And also, there won't be any Art of Wrestling this year with Colt Cabana's new format.
Really?
Don't keep up on his podcast.
Not as much as I used to.
He's giving up doing doing interviews. He's right now doing a best of where he's replaying or reposting episodes. so it kind of gives him a break. He just has to redo intros and outros, but I know he replayed the Gargano one. That was an early one he did, like the second week that he did it, which I was happy. I was like, that's one of my favorites. He just did Gallows and Anderson, a couple other ones I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's notable ones of maybe people who have done a lot since then, or just ones that he thought were good episodes. Oh, he did the second Domino episode, the one where he went to Nigeria, and that was the first repeat guest on, I believe. So yeah, so now he's going to do a new format that he's talked about lately, and that's going to be like a documentary type thing where he's going to have to go, maybe he sits down with people, talks more about what's going on right now, maybe in those situations. Like, I don't know. He obviously hasn't done it yet. He said it's going to debut in March, for those who don't know. But
it's going to happen. Just enjoy this part while it's here.
So, yeah, it probably won't get the whole big thing like we did before. Maybe not, I don't know, but definitely no movie getting shot the morning of that. I was crazy.
I almost went to that, but after the night before, I'm like, no, I need sleep. Sorry.
And you didn't even go to the after party. I did.
Yeah, I was so tired.
I went after party, back to the hotel that we just got.
Slept for an hour and a half.
It seemed like maybe 2 hours. Woke up, grabbed some hotel breakfast, went to frickin' not Turner's, but Our Lady.
PB Smooth just didn't go to sleep. He never sleeps. Look at his Instagram story. He doesn't sleep.
Oh my God.
5 a.m. He's just in his car.
I felt it that day. Oh my God. Anyway, next up, actually we had intermission here. But after that, we came back with the tag team title match. Dedication personified, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham and Brian Carson versus twins, PB Smooth and Hornswoggle, which other co-hosts of the show, Dustin Alberti, mentioned that we didn't put enough emphasis on that this is a reference to the movie Twins. Yes, I thought a lot of people got that, but when that movie came out, maybe before Kayden was born, he might not got it as much.
Oops.
So yes, that was, I believe, a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Yes, twins.
I don't get it.
They play twins, and that's a movie was called Twins. I've never seen it, but I know of it.
I know wrestling.
And twins, PB Smooth and Hornswoggle retain via Call the Corner. And this is another match where there was an injury. We had Brian Carson, which I briefly mentioned this, and that's on last week's episode about how Brian Carson was talking about some health issues. And pretty much they happened again. Brian Carson did get another concussion, so I wouldn't be surprised we might not see him wrestling anytime soon. I don't know if he'll still be at shows or still with Dr. Dan, but I'm not expecting Brian Carson anytime soon, which sucks, because I know there's a lot of people who've been on the show and who listen to the show that don't like Brian Carson. And, I at one point was one of them people, but health is, serious shit. Same thing I think with Sean Schultz. You can hate Sean Schultz, but when the dude has to retire for his health, like, that shit sucks. Anything, Kayden?
So many injuries on this show. Mm-hmm. Injuries and technically a retirement. And please stop hating Carson. He's not that bad. Please. He's very good. I'm the one person that never disliked Carson. You're all just mean people. Leave Carson alone.
Please send all reaction to that statement at KVR216 on Twitter.
Please, at your thoughts.
Talking to you, Ed Battis. Talking to you, Ed from Pod Van Dam. There's probably other people too, but yeah.
I probably like Roman Reigns. I'm gonna use that as an insult, even though it's really not.
I mean, I've heard those that like Brian Carson also like Brock Lesnar.
I attend more shows than Brock Lesnar works.
Yeah, but he gets paid more for one appearance than you have to pay for the tickets to get into all those shows.
If he's getting paid this much money, you think he's going to work a lot. I don't know. They're paying me like $1 million for one match. I'm going to be working every week. I'll take that money, thank you very much. Go out there and suplex someone 16 times to get $1 million. Yeah, sure. Give me that money.
And his match versus John Cena was amazing.
I remember watching that, like, wow, this is so bad, but so good.
But anyway, yeah, that completely sucks about Carson. Fun match. I love the combination of PB Smooth and Hornswoggle. Curious to how long this team and the title reign lasts. Not saying I want it to end or anything like that, but it's just, I hope we're on this road for a while. That's the way I'll put it.
It's just something different compared to the last how many years of To Infinity and Beyond. Yeah, best team. Don't lose, ever.
And next up, we had the namesake of the show herself, Tennille Dashwood versus Britt Baker. And I don't know about you, I was kind of surprised that Tennille Dashwood won, and won via a low Yakuza kick.
I don't think it has a technical name, so that's what we're going with.
But still, the fact that she won, I thought we would see maybe Britt Baker win. And don't they have a match at Remix too?
Yep, and I believe I'm going to that show.
I think OCW runs that day, so I'll be at OCW.
Also, Britt was getting booed a lot. It was weird. I wasn't a fan.
People are booing her because she's from Pittsburgh, which I admit I'm one of the number one I hate Pittsburgh people. But I don't take that out on her. But then again, like, the number one person booing is one of the most drunk people booing that will literally cheer. Like, I think in the four-way match that we mentioned, the four-way single match, freaking at one point he was rooting for Matthew Justice, the next minute he was rooting for Tim Donst.
It is the AIW crowd. Some weird people in that crowd.
I wonder if AIW crowds still have the bad reputation among on the internet, because I know back in the Turner Hall days it was a very infamous thing that we were supposedly this really bad bunch of people. Of the stuff that I mentioned earlier, you would kind of understand why, but I didn't feel like that was everybody. But now that things have changed since the Turner Hall days, tickets now have gone up. There's actually tiers, and there's more people that can fit in, and the crowd has changed in its own different ways.
I never knew about that online about the Turner's crowd.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. I've heard, it goes into a lot of, I know, Twitter drama at one point.
Wrestling Twitter with drama? What?
Oh yeah, it's constant. But at one point, I remember a big thing of like, oh, how degrading and how disrespectful AIW fans were. Maybe not just to wrestlers, but to...
I mean, we still are scumbags, but not as bad.
Yeah. So I wonder if that whole thing is still out there. I'm going to have to ask a couple people.
Yeah, I've never heard any of this story. Now I'm interested.
And then, after that, winding down, we got two more matches. But we had one of my favorite matches of the night, and it's something we've been watching over the past 6 months. The Production, once again, going up against No Strings Attached. Frankie...
Nope, no strings attached.
No strings attached. No consequences. Too many no's. No consequences, no strings
No
attached.
strings attached has been going for a while.
No means no. No sex in the champagne room. I mean... Oh my god, imagine the Production versus No Strings Attached. See, they need to return. I just accidentally...
Yeah, hear that, Beta? Come back from wherever you're at right now.
Come back from England.
If you're still there.
Come back from Europe. Keep Mike Bailey there. You can come back.
Mike Bailey can't come to the States anyway, so...
Is he banned?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Or fortunately. I can't...
No, unfortunately. We like Mike Bailey.
We do?
He's crazy. He only wears kick pads, no shoes.
He took Veda away from us.
Away from you.
But anyway, the Production versus No Consequences. Frankie Flynn, Magnum CK, Derek Director, Eddie Only, and the debuting Donovan Danhausen versus AJ Gray, Trey Lamar, Joshua Bishop, Chase Oliver, and Gary the King Baller. And they win via moonsault by Frankie, and that's the Production, which has kind of been a dominant thing. The Production on top. This is another match that there was an injury, that being Magnum CK broke his nose, which I had scheduled an interview with Magnum CK after the show. Because of his broken nose, he had to go to the hospital. Because of him going to the hospital, couldn't do the interview. And if this interview would have been done, I wouldn't have sat on it. It actually would have been posted almost immediately, just as like a bonus episode.
Hey, here's this interview.
Yeah. So I was keeping that as a surprise, and yeah, doesn't happen. So we will try again at the next show. But things that needs to be talked about after this, which we didn't tweet it out. Which sometimes I like doing this, sometimes I don't. It just depends. Josh Prohibition came out and actually saved the day, as the Production looked like they were about to beat the shit out of Joshua Bishop. So he comes out, make the save. So we have a great moment of Josh Prohibition and Joshua Bishop together in the ring. And, Josh Prohibition goes on his regular promos. Very lengthy. Tells you a nice little story. To sum it all up, or just at least to get to the end. He heard a lot about Joshua Bishop, decided to go see him at the AIW school, and he seen all these wrestlers working out that day, and there was no Joshua Bishop. Instead, you know, he kind of insinuated Joshua Bishop was goofing off or whatever. So basically leads us into, at the next show, we will see Joshua Bishop versus Josh Prohibition. My question is on a classical sense, which maybe this is something we've kind of talked about, like, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's the heel, who's the face? Because
it wasn't really set here.
But I like that. It's gonna be
Let the crowd pick.
Mm-hmm. Like, are you going to be someone who's older and looks at it from like, yeah, screw this younger generation point of view, so you're going to be rooting for Joshua Prohibition? Or are you going to be a young guy and, you know, you like everything about not J-Pro, but Joshua Bishop, so you're going to root against J-Pro and root for Joshua Bishop. So I don't...
Or you can be me and like both.
Well, you can always like both, but, you know, it just depends on who you actually root for.
If you're not just a gigantic mark like me. Hi, I just like everything about wrestling. I don't really hate anyone. I'm going to just cheer for everyone and everything.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, that pretty much sums me up.
But yeah, absolutely crazy fucking match.
Trey Lamar starts by diving literally into the crowd.
Oh my god, that, and Chase Oliver still, I mean, he's not doing the crazy shit into the crowd, but he's still doing amazing things.
The match literally starts with, hey, it's dive. Whee! Trey almost ends up in the second row.
I was actually wrong. We have 2 more matches after this. Moving on really quickly because I'm getting kind of tired. Is DJZ versus Joey Janela for the Intense Championship. And yeah, Joey Janela.
No story, just wrestling.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Joey Janela retained via double stomp. So the Joey Janela reign continues.
Glad to see Zima back again after, I believe, another injury.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for him. He's had a lot of injuries in the last, 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
He comes back from all of them, but it's screwed his career over here and there.
Yeah. Hasn't got it nearly as far as probably he could have. But I don't know, just to look at the progress, though, from Shima Zion to now, like, he has progressed in so many different ways of his wrestling style, his actual physical look, his more of a character look. Like, it's definitely more of a package now than ever. And then that leads us into the main event, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Nick fucking Gage for the AIW Absolute Championship.
Nick Gage ran at our section and dove into us. It's the most terrifying thing that's ever happened.
I was about to tell the story for, our section of people in the front row. We're some of the more vocal Nick Gage supporters. So, he comes out, it's Nick fucking Gage, Nick fucking Gage, Nick fucking Gage. And, he comes out doing his normal shit. Maybe flicking some people off, just maybe talking shit, maybe smacking some hands. He sees us, he smiles and just darts for us. And I think all of us had oh shit type thing, moment. And, kind of gave us all a hug. And I say, because how he ran into you, you should have sold it and just fell way backwards.
I don't think it would have been selling. I probably would have legitimately fallen over. If he hit me really hard, I probably just
yeah, we were joking that he might have booked it. We're like, oh man, I can't go back to prison. I gotta get out of here. And the other thing is, because he loves our section so much, and this was put out as a GIF on Twitter.
Oh, this was even better.
Is we were Nick Gage approved. He at one point, I forget the move that he did, but he looked over at us, gave us a thumbs up. I think he might have winked a little bit, but because I have the GIF up right now, and the rope's kind of in his eyesight, so I can't tell if he just moved his head or if it was he winked at us, but gave us a thumbs up.
He hit the sit out spine buster, turns around, thumbs up and a smile. So fantastic.
So that was a absolute fun moment, but Nick Gage did retain via the chokebreaker, not via the one wing angel.
Professional wrestling Nick Gage is the best. I prefer this over deathmatch Nick Gage.
That's weird if you say.
Nick Gage is actually a really good wrestler. He's very good.
Are you saying that because he almost killed you?
No, people just don't give Gage enough credit. He's actually a really, really good wrestler. He just does death matches way more than he actually wrestles.
All right, Kayden, what was your final thoughts on this show?
I went into this show kind of all right, this is just going to be another fun show. This show, again, exceeded my expectations. Very, very good show. The bonus matches made it even better. That four-way was insane. Go check that out whenever the show is available. Nick Gage, just being Nick Gage, made the show fun. On a scale of 1 to 10, or the letter ranking, because I haven't been on here in 6 years, I forget what we do.
Letter ranking.
Probably B+. It was solid.
Yeah, I went into this not knowing what to expect. I knew it seemed kind of somewhat stacked. We had, what sounded like it was going to be a big turnout, and it was, with, Tennille Dashwood. Nothing really happened in the more main event matches. And I mean that, or I should say the upper card of, the title matches. All the champions still walked out as champion. Not much storyline has been going on in with those, so that's not really a huge knock, but I feel like a lot of the undercard from the title matches killed it, especially with, a match like, the production versus No Consequences. That match was put on 8th.
It was just a solid night of wrestling.
And, some of those wrestlers are in their first year of wrestling. Some are, under 5 years. Maybe most of, that match was under 5 years. I don't know as much about Danhausen, and I think Derek might be coming close to 5-ish, but still, absolutely killed it. I know I'm a person who has talked a lot about my love for the production, and especially the feud with No Consequences. Still one of my favorite matches of the night. I think Dom has always been somebody who surprises us more and more, and this was, no exception to that rule. Yeah, he lost, but I love what I see. And also the same thing with Lawler. I think that's why a lot of people do want to see Nick Gage versus Lawler and see where that's going to go.
It was going to happen at a different show, but now that Lawler destroyed his own arm, it's no happen.
I think I would grade it a B. I don't necessarily think it was an A, but I definitely had fun. It was a fun night of wrestling, and we had some great surprise matches like the 4-way and a surprise PME winning,
which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
This actually was not, going back to that, this was not Marino's first win in Mount Carmel.
Yeah.
Back to the Future Cup last year.
Yeah. And MJF Cole Cabana, that was early in the show. That was the third match. That was fun. So I give it a B, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, any final thoughts or last minute plugs as we wrap up the show?
At KVR216 on everything. Follow me. I gif lots of wrestling. I'll probably be gifting this show the day it comes out because I'm a mark. I do nothing with my life.
Do you even have school anymore?
What?
Do you even have school anymore?
No, I'm schooled.
Didn't the same thing happen last year too?
This time of the year, just immune system was in terms of trying to deal with stuff at school.
I say, if you weren't so close to graduating, I'd be like, you just go test for your GED.
I have a good tutor. I'm not worried.
Yeah.
He's not worried either. We're good. Can't wait to get yelled at on Twitter. Why aren't you in school? You better be passing. Don't worry. I'll pass. I will come straight from graduation to JLIT Day 2. I
mean, you want to talk about, how do I describe it? You want to talk about peeing up all the time? Like, dude, I work and everything. It'd be like 1 or 2 in the morning and like you're tweeting.
Yeah, I can't say I'm good about sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then I end up sleeping until noon, so.
Tweeting about all your young wrestling friends, and I'm like, go to bed.
No, I don't sleep. Leave me alone. I finally have friends.
This is a conversation me and Alex Williams had. Okay, go to bed.
Nice to be.
Anyway, of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And once again, if you send me a Facebook friend request, please let me know you watch you could watch the show. The show does go on YouTube, but that you listen to the show. I recently had like a string of random ads, and I was feeling like in a good mood, and I was adding people. But these people are also going to be on my watch if there's no interaction in X amount of time. So I'm like, I don't know you. Why are you adding me? Like, oh yeah, we have a bunch of wrestling mutual friends. Cool. But why should I add you? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of grumpy about that kind of stuff. But anyway, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can always follow me on Twitter and Instagram. That's perfectly cool. And if you interact with me so much, I probably end up following you back if I don't know who you are. Also, Wrestling Cheers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/Wrestling Cheers, Twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers, and Instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Head on over to the What a Maneuver BasketBrawl.net site. Find our store, buy a t-shirt. Eventually you'll have a new design up, probably 2 new designs up. Just been really slacking on that. Also, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. And if you like us, or if I should say follow us, subscribe on YouTube, we will follow you. We will subscribe to your channel back. Something I'm trying to get at least more subscribers on YouTube, but our listener base is very spread. Also, check out all of our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, What's on Fight, Eurovision Showcase, Legends on Siren Radio, Old School at the Movies, TTN at the Movies, View from the Fourth Row, and Chill and the 450 podcast. And then check out all our podcast friends, such as Chris Clem's Cavscast, Wingcast, a Wingman podcast with Steve Guy, Let the Hate Flow Through You with Jeremy Shear and El Hordano Diablo, Pod Van Dam, weekly wrestling podcast.
They live. We're good. We're coming back, guys. I promise.
That's why I've been. Wasn't there a show back? I thought there was. That's why I added them back to the list.
We're working on it. It's not my fault. Just shoot jobs.
So I'm just keep on the lookout for weekly wrestling podcast, the not yet weekly wrestling podcast.
The monthly podcast. Yeah, not really. It's been like 6 months since we've done anything.
And there's our friends at Rebel Life Media and NAOS Sports Insiders and Thrift Store Jobber. Check him out on Instagram, eBay, Twitter, Etsy, all those fun things. And of course, the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you've been admitted to the emergency room. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a